Colts and Jonathan Taylor to find a new home for him next season. That deadline passed. Jonathan Taylor is still with the Colts. He is on the PUP list. Will miss the first 4 games. Their general manager said the situation simply sucks yesterday. Did it surprise you at all? And as we've learned, the various reports that Miami was interested, the Packers were perhaps interested as well. But when it came to Miami, they wanted, Jalen Waddle. Like, you're not going to get Waddle in a deal for Jonathan Taylor. Does it surprise you at all that they struggled to get one of those big names or a first-round pick for a guy who the owner said the league wouldn't miss if he was gone tomorrow?
Sounds like the owner, Jim Irsay, is maybe a little too invested in this because you can only get, I don't care if it's your car, if it's a hand-me-down from your grandparents, or a former, a guy who is a former NFL rushing leader of a season in which Derrick Henry missed 9 games because of a broken foot. Put a little asterisk by that. But, you're only going to get what somebody's willing to offer you when something is available. That includes NFL running back. So you may want a first-round pick. You may want Jalen Waddle. But you know what? Other teams are entitled to look at you and laugh at your face and say, no. So what they have now is Jonathan Taylor on the PUP list that buys him 4 games. And let's not forget, he missed 6 games last year because of an ankle that he had off-season surgery on. So you're buying somebody who you think is healthy and ready to go, but now you're supposed to make a deal for a guy who's on the PUP list, physically unable to perform. So it's like, Jim Irsay just seems a little too invested in the situation. I make you a bet. Chris Ballard could have moved Jonathan Taylor for something. The problem is when you set that price tag too high, you're not going to get what you think you should have gotten.
Because I don't think they want to trade him. Like that's the deal. If you value him like a first rounder, if you value him like a Jalen Waddle, if those are the types of things you're asking for, well, doesn't hey, we don't want to pay you argument kind of go out of the window? You don't want to trade him. You have him under contract. You just don't want to pay him. So if that's the case, you've proved Jonathan Taylor's point to me right here with how you've handled this situation. He is valuable, and you should pay him.
Ding, 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 CJ, right on the money, baby. Because where did this split kind of start? Why did Jonathan Taylor ask to be traded? He wants a new contract. His contract this year pays him $4.13 million, and that's it. And running back pay, the 2 positions, I'm not going to count long snapper, but the 2 positions that are paid less in the NFL than running back right now are kicker and punter. And, these guys are taking a beating with their bodies. It used to be that they were first, round picks. They were paid well. And somewhere around the time that Le'Veon Bell, just held out, the price tag and the pay level for running backs has been going down, 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 and it's not even been a burning ring of fire. It's just been, we have running backs to pay. And I'm writing today about Derrick Henry, and he is the guy who started the group chat among running backs this offseason about, what do we do to raise up our value? Now, the problem is there's one Derrick Henry. He is the guy who has literally led the NFL in rushing since he came into the league in 2016. And this is a guy who didn't play much in 2016 and part of 2017 because DeMarco Murray was ahead of him. And so he had to be a little patient. And yet the man just has put up amazing numbers. And, he's in the last year of his deal. So, and he's a guy who didn't fuss with the Tennessee Titans. They got his extension done right at the literal deadline after they put the franchise tag on him. And, they found a way, Derrick Henry and the Titans, to not make it personal, to keep it business and get him paid. And we'll see what happens after this season. And I still maintain that he's got tread left on the tires. I won't be surprised if he's here next year. I won't be surprised if he's somewhere else next year because Spears. This is the problem. You have somebody named Tyjae Sharp and then Tyjae Spears.
Yeah.
But Tyjae Spears is number 2 in Tennessee land this year. And guys, I still think Derrick Henry's going to have one heck of a season. And he's going to, he's going to make somebody think heavily about paying him really well this next year.
I've been taking Tyjae as my late flyer in fantasy football drafts.
Smart
Smart
move.
Is he the player that's impressed you the most coming out of the preseason for the Titans? Or if not him, who's been some of those players that have impressed you coming out of preseason?
Well, CJ absolutely was Spears because, I mean, people in Memphis are familiar with him out of Tulane. And, I mean, he's a guy who can run between the tackles and he can catch the ball. And the Titans have been trying for years to get that number 2 who can be that dual threat. And the problem is they were just the pass catching threat. And you can't be that true. It's impossible to disguise if you can't run up between the tackles and you have a Derrick Henry. I'm sorry. When you come on the field, people know you're going to pass. So, and Derrick Henry, to give him credit, has improved his pass catching skills to the point that when he goes on the field, you can't just automatically say, oh, ignore him. They're not going to throw to him. He is literally coming off a career year with the most catches caught and most yards receiving. So they now finally have that combination that if Derrick Henry goes out wide and Spears is in the backfield, if they do something like that, you can't say, no, they're just going to throw it to Spears. You can't do that. When they did it with Dion Lewis and they tried it with Darrington Evans, who couldn't stay healthy. They tried it with Hassan Haskins last year, and he's on the IR for the rest of the season. And, the NFL's commissioner exempt list. So he can't even come to a game this year at the moment because of what he had happen off the field this offseason. So it's going to be fun to watch this offense. They should be greatly